What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Sweat It Out podcast. Today we have a very special guest. This man's out in Connecticut. He's a tremendous athlete. He's a huge health and fitness advocate. He is an NFL tight end. Please help me welcome the one and only Jerome Cunningham. What's up, man?
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on the show. I've been waiting for this all week, and I can't wait to share my story.
Yeah, we're pumped, man. We're pumped.
Yeah, we've been dying to I know we've gone back and forth saying, hey, we got to get you on, and I know you've been excited too, so we're just excited we're here today making it happen, my dude.
100%.
So how things been for you, man? How's obviously I know during this times with the COVID, it's been on and off, but, how's everything been going? Obviously the season, kind of can take us through that a little bit, how that experience has been.
Well, it's been, an interesting, season, to say the least. I tore my ACL in 2019 as a member of the Washington football team. And, I've been home ever since March in the beginning of quarantine. So I just been at home grinding, waiting for that call. And it's been an interesting year because they shut down free agent signings and workouts because they used to, NFL teams would work out 10 to 15 guys a week. And, those opportunities are slim or none. So the biggest thing with me was just, staying at home, staying mentally prepared and also physically prepared. Because, as you know, the mental part is the most important aspect of any training philosophy or anything in life,
So how do you do that without being, without going into the facility every day? That's usually what I feel like keeps a lot of players in check. At least when I was working in the college realm, they were when you had classroom checks and you had meetings and you had all that stuff. That's really the routine kept you in the game, kept you really focused. How have you been able to keep that level of focus that you need to be successful, so that you can get signed?
And I'm going to say one thing real quick. For all those who haven't seen him on Instagram, he's working.
Oh, hard.
This guy's working.
Hard.
So, that self-motivation, man, it's there.
Oh, yeah. I would say that the biggest thing is just, as my upbringing, growing up in Waterbury, Connecticut, it was inner city and, things were tough. So that laid the framework and, it allowed me to continue to excel on the football field. But I say the biggest thing is just, having, books, reading books, listening to podcasts. I feel like, as human nature, you go through ebbs and flows and you're going to be happy, you're going to be, sad. And I just feel like the best, benefit is to always keep your mind stimulated, because, idle time is a devil's playground. So, that can, be detrimental to anyone's career or, for their personal development. So I like to go to Barnes & Noble and I stay in the self-improvement genre. And that's been the most beneficial, which has allowed me to translate and, bring that intensity each and every day when I'm working out.
That's awesome. I got to first off say, I don't think that many people nowadays even go to Barnes & Noble and sit there.
Yeah, I know, right?
I think most people
I was trying to think, where is there a Barnes & Noble that I know of,
And if people do go, it's because they want to get the Starbucks that's inside of it.
Preach.
But, dude, kudos to you, man, because, it's obviously shows that, the amount of work you're putting in. Obviously, you're wanting to get back into the field with the team. But the amount of work you see, people can see you putting in your social media, what you're telling us right now, it goes to show the level of dedication you have to want to be able to just make yourself better every single day. Now, I want to personally ask you, do you have a set routine, a set schedule that you plug in everything you need to do in that day? And how does that look like if you do?
Yeah, 100%. I wake up with, each and every day with the mentality of getting better, whether it be mentally or physically. Luckily, my girlfriend, she wakes up pretty much close to 5:30 every morning.
That
so
helps.
That helps get the ball rolling because, when she gets up, and it actually motivates me to get up. Every once in a while I need motivation too. So, she sets that framework for the day, and then we get up, we have our coffee together, and then by 6:30, 7 o'clock, I'm just eager to, start getting work on the computer. So, I just try to, keep my task in, hourly blocks. Try to get, 50 minutes of work and then 10 minutes of rest, or 10 minutes of looking at my phone, because it brings me back to that next point of, why I have the hard copies. It's not because I don't know how, or I don't like reading on my phone. It's just the fact that if I get an alert, that takes my attention away, and then I'm not focused, and then I'm waving back, and then before that, I'm reading on page 30. I don't know what's going on. So I just think the most beneficial in the world that we live in is try to get into those 25 5-minute blocks or those 50-minute, 10-minute blocks, either or to, you're going to have some moments of downtime. So to answer your question, and it's usually after 7 o'clock, it's usually those hour blocks. Taking occasional breaks. Currently I'm studying for my strength and conditioning certification right now. That's why I haven't been posted much recently with the ISSA certification. So that's why I haven't been posted as much, because I've been, using my time for that for the most part.
Well, this man has a strength and conditioning background over here, so that's what he studied.
I see the on it shirt.
Oh yeah, I love these guys. Yeah, no, I was an intern at Syracuse when I was there for 4 years, and then I moved over to FAU and I got my master's degree. Worked a little bit there, and such a crazy experience, man. To be able to coach, some kids that are a little older than you at the time. It was really weird for me. I was 22, 23, and some of the guys, they were like 24, 25 with like a kid or two. I was like, all right, well, I guess I got to learn how to really earn my voice and earn respect through work ethic. And that was like a pretty incredible experience for me. I just want to say, I'm like you, I need that hardcover book. I'm a big highlighter guy. I'm like obsessive compulsive, where like the highlighter color that I use has to match like a color of the book theme. So if there's red in the book, I need to use like the pink highlighter. If there's yellow highlighter. I need that in the smell of the book. This sounds super weird. People who are probably listening to this on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify are like, this guy's so creepy. But the smell of the book and that texture, there's just something about like turning the page that I really like that I don't get from like scrolling through my phone. So I'm right there with you. What are some books that you're reading now? I'm pretty interested. I mean, I know you lifted up that one, but
the Brain Hacks. This is helps you with free radicals, flushing toxins. But I read this book. I pick it up and I just try to read a hack a day. I've been doing that for the last 3 weeks, so I'm on 24 right now, and that's one good book. I have read this book in the past. It's by Mel Robbins. It's the 5-second rule. Okay. So this helps with me because I'm all over the place. ADD, so it's just that 5-second rule. Basically, the gist of it is, whenever you're procrastinating or you're in these moments, like back to that 5-minute, 10-minute block, and you're almost at that 12-minute, 13-minute, because we're human. We're gonna go over or under. It just tells you to visualize a stop sign and count down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and almost think about jettisoning yourself out of whatever situation you're in and start getting back to productivity.
So from the hacks book, what's one hack that stuck out to you that you can share with us?
I would say it was it's just more stuff that we know about. It's just a good reiterating, but it was more the DHA, the fish oils for improved alertness and memory concentration. They also recommended a plant-based diet, and there's a whole bunch of definitely great insight that would help clear up some brain fog or improve your mood. And at the end of the day is what I've learned from the past is just gut health. You keep that in check, and obviously everything else will fall in place. That's the plumbing of the body. You don't want to have that clogged up. So, but that's one thing I learned was just, or one of the few things so far is just the EPA, the DHA. It was explaining about fish oil and the importance of that when it comes to anti-inflammatory benefits as well.
Nice. Now, are you as an NFL player allowed to take nootropics? Do you know a lot about nootropics at all? They're like almost like memory and focus enhancing supplements that you can take, right? So like Onnit has one that's called Alpha Brain. I know that there's some that are more like athlete approved, but I didn't know if the NFL had any like specific rules against it.
It all depends, and that's why for the last 6-7 years I was blessed to have a strength and conditioning coach who because I had those questions, and there's big companies out there that might have a couple banned substances in the NFL. Not just saying it's performance enhancing, it's just heart health. So I think it's just I just think what were we talking about? Sorry.
Oh, just like banned substances versus
banned
ones
substances.
that you can take.
So but going back to my strength coach in Tennessee, he referred me to an app called Aegis Shield, which I use literally periodically through my NFL career. I probably used it hundreds of times, and I literally would check. And this is a third-party testing service that works through the NFL. So to answer your question, I'm sure On It has approved because fighters use it. And,
I know like AJ Hawk and all them used to use a lot of the stuff. So
exactly.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you brought up your relationship with your strength coach. Were you close with him? Because it's always funny to me when you hear, especially in college, right? You hear a lot of like reporters and people like fans like, oh, you must be really close with like all of these coaches. But no one really talks about how close a lot of athletes are with the strength coach when, especially in college, like that's the dude that you're spending most of your time with, you know, all summer long, all season long. And those are usually, I mean, my favorite guys to be around are always the strength and conditioning guys. Them and the special teams players, because those guys are a little rowdy.
Look how much time I have to spend with him.
Yeah. You're welcome, dude. It's an honor to spend this much time with me.
But it's I just love the fact that he was approachable. All the strength coaches are approachable when I was in Giants, Tennessee, but the one in particular in Tennessee helped me tremendously. There was also Jerry Palmieri in New York Giants who helped me too. But a lot of it's funny that you bring it up because a lot of guys don't like the strength and conditioning side of it, but obviously I love it. Mm-hmm. But it's funny because you get those butting ahead moments where guys are like sore and they're just like, oh, you got to do this. And you're like, no, I don't want to do it. But it's just one of those things where they just keep there to, hold you to that accountable standard. And they just there to make you better. So I always had that approach whenever I stepped foot in the weight room or inside the building, I was going to get better, especially in that weight room.
Mm-hmm. And how has it been for you now that you're starting to get your strength and conditioning cert, maybe kind of taking a peek back at what you've done over your career in terms of training and seeing like, okay, well, I thought that maybe he was being a dick, but now I kind of understand what he's talking about and why he was pushing it that way.
Yeah, 100%. And you learn, the nuts and the nuts and bolts of it, but then you start to get into like more structural, and you start building houses once you start, getting these certifications and the ECUs. And like you said, you're learning the inner workings of the body, and you just like, oh, like, I'm learning about valgus and, and all these other words and terminations of the joints. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this when I was getting an evaluation at NFL when I was, getting my physical done. So it's just that jargon and that lingo. And I love it sucks when I get hurt, but I can talk to them on the same language.
Right.
We can have that same common dialogue. And it's interesting because you almost, it almost catches them off guard majority of the time because they're just like, well, I wasn't expecting to be this interested. So, I just love the aspect of, learning as much as possible because at the end of the day, I couldn't, not to say I couldn't afford, well, when I first started my NFL career, I couldn't afford training per se at a top-notch facility. So the training facility that I went to was in Branford, Connecticut. And, it was $20 a session and he looked out for me and, that was, beneficial for me to start in my career because it excelled and, helped me, get where I'm at. So, with me training there and then, me having to fill in the gaps because I could only, I was in college, so I could only go see him two times a week. So me filling in the gaps, so I had to train at a local gym in Connecticut called the Edge Fitness Club. And I would train there periodically. And then that's when I would like oh, spend the whole morning researching a workout, putting it together, and then, all right, go do it. And then you're just like, all right, that workout sucked, or why is this feeling this way versus, so it's just trial and error. And I just feel like I have that perspective because I have had so many different, training philosophies. And I just love the fact that, training helps a lot of people. And is personal training and fitness in general has helped benefit my career tremendously.
It's awesome, man. And I want to say something because at least I know from the experiences we've had with some people and other athletes we've interacted with, from Olympic athletes to NFL players to basketball players, a lot of them are getting certified. I've seen a lot of the ones that we've been talking about, they're somehow becoming coaches in some way or some form. Is this something that you just see coming out more? Like even your experience with some of your friends, are you seeing more of your football friends have been wanting to step into this? And I've been hearing just more about like, oh, they want to just know more for themselves, or they actually want to get into coaching. So I just want to see if that's a trend that you have seen in the NFL of athletes themselves wanting to become coaches.
I would say that, with, me knowing, a lot of, guys who, because a lot of people just think a lot of NFL players are millionaires, but, pretty much like the bottom 40%, 50% are on a year-to-year basis. So, I built a lot of relationships with a lot of people, but, in reference to those people who only played a couple years and, 2-3 years, drafted or undrafted or not, a lot of them reached out to me and was like, yo, how much does it cost to start a gym? And they're like, not to say like they're not feeling fulfilled in what they're doing, because I don't, not saying I don't talk to them personally, but you can see like, hey, listen, like they're very intrigued by this and they want to pursue this because of the fact that they still can impact lives and they can still be a part of the sporting world. So to answer your question, I see a lot of guys, asking questions, DMing me about, the opportunities that are presented, because the NFL, we're blessed to have the NFLPA who, goes out of their way to get these partnerships and these sponsorships. That's the reason why I chose ISSA, because of the fact that they had like 60% off. I'm like, what? Like, on a course? Like, this is beneficial. I would pay for a full price, but that's pretty much it. It's just the grind.
Yeah, and I think that's why the majority of us really got into, fitness training or the fitness industry in the first place, was because it was an easy transition out of athletics, right? And we could still kind of feel competitive. We could still like
that's what it was for me.
The first time one of my teachers in high school, that was one of my business teachers, was like, oh, well, you like training, you like sports. Well, why don't you think about being a strength and conditioning coach? I was like, what is that? Well, you train athletes and, you get to wear like the gear. And so she like did her own little research for me. And I'm like, so you're telling me that I can train these cool ass athletes, be around sports still, and I get to basically wear pajamas to work every day? Like, sign me the fuck up for that. Like, I'm down.
He also heard he could get a ring potentially. So
hey, I got a couple I got a Big East championship ring, boy, for doing nothing, for playing catch with Ryan Nassib. Let's go. Yeah, you know Nassib? I love it. Yeah. 3 years I played catch with him. It was great. Yeah.
With my first touchdown.
Oh, yeah? So fire. Yeah, Nassib's a great dude. I love Ryan. He's awesome. Yeah. And Pugh, Justin Pugh, too. Pugh was with the Giants for a while.
Yeah, I know Pugh.
Yeah, he's funny. He's a fucking riot.
Riot and business savvy. Like, I love it. Like, my business and investment, savvy came not really from him, but I was intrigued by it because he, came in the locker room and he made a lot on a trade, and he was like, just cashed in. Like, this is dope. Like, literally, we just had practice and meetings, and we had a little gap, and he just went to his locker, checked his phone, and then he's like, all right, I'm up. So it's just the benefit of, investing. And I realized that my first year.
Oh, that's great. That's cool that you had that connection with some of my Cuse boys. I love those guys.
Yeah.
So what's some of the biggest advice you'd give, that you would give a lot of young athletes getting into the NFL, as far as like, this is how you should take care of yourself, money-wise, health-wise, relationships, friendships. Like, what's some of the advice you would give here, or that you already give some of these young athletes? Because I know it's an important topic.
Yeah, it's definitely a grind. And I would just say this, like, from my experience, like, if you have goals and aspirations of the NFL, like, why not train for the NFL Combine right now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't, all the drills, they correlate to football success on the field. So why not get better at the drills your sophomore, your junior year in college? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I did. Like, you know, I nipped the 225 bench press in the bud. Like, I was working on that my freshman year in college. I knew I could do about, I think, like, probably like 6 to 8 reps before I came into college. And then by the time I left, I was doing 32. So, you know, that's just that. If you chip away at it, that's, you know, what you figure that's, you know, 5 to 6 reps per year, you know, on average. So, like, just being persistent and just knowing that if you do have the goals and aspirations, you have to start now. Mm-hmm. You know, there's still memories in my head of, you know, guys talking to me like, yo, you're squatting after practice? I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to go to the league. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is, yeah, I know we just have practice, but it's just all a mentality. And another thing too, like, anything's possible, and they have, you know, more opportunities more than ever. You know, the XFL after, I'm pretty sure it should be starting up, so that's going to be another bridge to the NFL.
Yeah,
so,
The Rock invested in that, right? He bought it from Vince McMahon.
His ex-wife too.
Yeah, she's got some bread.
He's the owner.
Yeah.
So
That's good. That's good. Get that away from Vince McMahon. 0 for 2 with football leagues and that guy.
Really, I mean, I was just sitting there like, well, The Rock will definitely, you know, follow suit, because the game, I will hope so, because the show, the game, like, it's basically like him potentially going to go buy a team, and then it comes into fruition in the real life. So I think it'll be dope for him to actually, you know, have this carried over for 5 to 10 years, which I know he can easily do because he was a hardworking man. But yeah, the advice I would just say is just surround yourself. Another good tip is just surround yourself with, you know, good people. And when I say that is, you know, surrounding yourself not with just good people, because, you know, some people they're good people, but they have bad intentions. So what I want to say is just, you know, find that, you know, I would say 4 to 5 people. I mean, not saying that you should limit yourself. You can still network. I'm just saying communicate with 4 to 5 people, keep it small, and then always, you know, refer to those people, and you know who is for you, and, you know, who you can reach out to, and you just listen. That it's just like a MySpace friends top. Like, it's always going to change. You know what I'm saying? And those people who you don't communicate, not to say that they're deleted from your life. It's just the fact that they're not valuable to you at that moment right now, and they could be later in life. You know, there's been an instance where he's the director of men's health, and he was a reporter for the Giants.
Yeah, Eb.
That's Eb, baby.
That's our boy, Eb.
That's our boy.
And I wasn't sure if you guys knew him, but Eb,
he's been on the podcast.
And it's great that I'm going to be mentioning his name, because I can share his story, because of the fact that, you know, me and Eb, you know, built a rapport. And then, you know, like, obviously he was into fitness, I'm into fitness. So we had that same dialogue, that same passion. And, you know, Eb looked out for me to the point where he was just like, all right, now let's move to fitness. And what else you do? I was like, oh, I play video games. He's like, Eb plays video games too. And I'm like, oh, there's another thing that we you know, have a common dialogue with. He loved to read, all that. So, you know, long story short, you know, I built up that relationship, and then a couple months later, he's like, hey, bro, you play Rock Band? I'm like, yeah. He's like, hey, man, like, I'll get you a free Rock Band set. I'm like, how? I was like,
bro, I would pay to see him play Rock Band. The fucking giant ass arms.
He was telling us about how much of a Marvel and superheroes fanatic he was.
Yeah, he was going in.
Yeah,
such a small world.
Literally small as possible, and, you know, and I still talk to Ed to this day, and, you know, just off of that rip. And the reason why I bring that up is not because you should intentionally go out of your way to, you know, look for a product. No, I'm not saying that. It's just because of the fact that I know a lot of people in that locker room did not want to approach Ed, because they're like, oh, he's just a reporter, so I'm just going to be standoffish towards him. Now, you can use that in that situation in life. You could be like, oh, I could be in the house for months and then have an interaction in public, and then, you know, treat someone the wrong way. So all it is just treat people how you want to be treated at the end of the day, and, you know, things will come back to you.
100%, man. You said it best, man. And it's all about that. It's all about who you put yourself around with and who you spend your most time with, because it really does rub off. You know, it really does rub off. And it can either rub off the good way or the wrong way. So if you're with the wrong crowd, God knows what you're going to become. And if you're in the good crowd, God knows what you're going to become as well. You know, so it's really, like you said, aligning yourself with the right people. And I want to capitalize a little bit on that. When you come into a team or when you're in a team, is it really easy and hard to, or really easy or hard identified in their team dynamic? Because I know on the field, you have to work as a unit. But also off the field, I think we can kind of also picture out, like, okay, who here in this team should I be spending time with and who I shouldn't? Is there usually is it usually pretty balanced out, or do you usually see more of like, there's a lot of people I shouldn't be hanging out with here outside of this, or there's a lot of great people in here that I need to be hanging out with?
Yeah, like you said, and you said it best, and even at the highest level, there's still some bad apples, and some people that haven't figured it out for themselves yet, and their moods and all that other energy just is not good energy for you, so it just brings you down. So there's a lot of factors and you don't really notice it, but when you're in that environment, but just taking a moment back, then you're just like, oh shoot, like, all right, well, that dude was cool, but I can see why I stayed away from him. Because of the fact that, don't get me wrong, like, everyone there, it's not like, like, has a criminal past or anything like that, but it's just one of those things where it's just like, all right, well, I literally hang out with people who have the greatest energy. Like, I'll hang out with anyone. Like, in Detroit, I was cool with the DBs, because their lockers were right next to us. When I was in New York, I was cool with the receivers. Cool, everyone, but majority of receivers, it just correlates to wherever the locker room is, and they usually kind of mix it up just for that, and I love that. Good coaches, they mix it up like, hey, listen, like, we're not just gonna have the tight end O-line, all the O-linemen together, and then all the defensive players together, so they just mix it up so there's less fights.
That's pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool.
Less fights at practice, to be honest with you. That's why they do it.
Yeah.
What's the craziest fight you've seen in practice? I gotta ask.
Craziest.
I got one.
That I remember. Well, they started fining dudes, but a lot of teams fine them now. But before it was, I'm gonna say, I would say college probably, because the guy who I trained with, and it wasn't even the NFL, but he literally, every single time, I'm like, yo, there's no way that they got in a fight, and he pops off his own. He's getting mollywopped to the head.
Yeah.
But it was definitely in college. But there's been a couple in the NFL, but a lot of players don't do it because they realize, like, I'm not trying to play it for free.
Facts. I saw a kid who now plays in the NFL. When I was at FAU, he was a freshman. We were in the weight room. He got in a fight with another defensive end, and threw a fist and knocked out 3 of the kid's front teeth, like right on the weight room floor. Now he's a defensive end for the Saints. I won't drop his name, but in case they don't know about that. Yeah. But dude, just like fucking cold right dead center, and I was like, oh, he broke his fucking teeth for sure. Like, guy comes in the ground, hand pull full of blood. We're like, bro, I'm getting out of here. I'm not. These guys are all bigger than me. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like, I'm not getting in the middle of this. Like, I'm just an intern at this point. Like, I'm not. I'm doing this for free. I need all my teeth. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have a dentist appointment for another 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, but shit gets hot out there. I mean, it's an aggressive sport. You're in there battling, trying to fight for not only your position, but at the end of the day, your paycheck. Like, you got it. Shit gets nasty sometimes. It is what it is.
And that's why I always say too. Like, I know a lot of times, like, people could sit at the opposite end of the screen and say, man, it must be easy, living it up, just playing your favorite, sport game. You know what I mean?
Nah.
And you don't know what really goes behind the scenes. Like, just a fact that I was actually, who was it the other day? Our boy Chris Gronk. He was posting his whole Dallas playbook and how they had to, like, learn it, and then they'll throw in all these new shits last minute. I'm like, holy shit!
Yeah, no, it's
like,
a grind.
You got to learn all that within this week? I'm like, God
Well,
damn.
people think like you're just, well, in the pros, they know that you have meetings and all that stuff. When you're in college, like, oh, you just go to class and then, you might work out for a little bit and then you got practice or a game. It's like, nah, 4:30 in the morning, your ass is up. Weight room at 5:30. Breakfast at 6:30 after that. Shower, breakfast, class at 8 to 2 class, come back, meetings till 3:30, practice 4 to 7. Come back, more meetings till 8:30, study hall till 12, rinse and repeat.
So the question is, what's harder? Because I've heard different, and I've usually heard college, but I want to get your opinion. Is it more brutal in college than it is in the NFL?
I would say it's just more brutal in college, just because of the fact that, don't get it twisted. The NFL is a in itself, but I'll just say like the hustle and bustle, all right, I gotta wake up at 4:30, especially in Connecticut. 20 degrees, go work out, and I'm not saying you don't do that in NFL, but I'm just like, it's just the course load too. I mean, it all depends on. I mean, it doesn't matter what major you have your heart set to. It's gonna be a very hardworking and rewardable experience when you step onto college as a student athlete. I'll tell you that, there's been times where it's just to go back to my college experience, Sunday through Thursday, do not hit me up. Because Sunday through Thursday was my time to get all my assignments done and everything. I wasn't a big procrastinator. I didn't want to save it. Everyone was different. Everyone was like, well, I'm just going to save it for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I was like, no, I'm going to get it done Sunday to Thursday so I can just chill on the weekends, because that's when I have games. That's when I want to chill. So, I mean, once everyone has their own routine, it gets better. But, don't get it twisted. The NFL, like you said, it has its own schedule, its own beast. You're going to be, in the facility probably 50 hours a week. At least. On top of that, you're going to have to go, get some additional work, especially in season. You're going to get some soft tissue work. So I think it's just more. It's more enjoyable in the league, because it's just all right, well, I can wake up and do whatever I want. Not really whatever I want, but
you have more control.
Yeah, you have more control. I feel like in college, you just step on campus and you're just your freshman year, why do I have 6 classes and why do I have 5 of them all in one day, and then I have practice?
Yep.
So then as you learn, I felt by my senior year, I was just all right, taking classes Tuesdays and Thursdays. So again, it's just everyone's schedule is different, but the hustle and bustle is definitely comparable to both ends.
And in the travel schedule too, man, is tough. Especially on these college athletes. A lot. Even I was just a student manager. But I would travel with the team, and even my friends are like, "Oh, you're gonna miss. You're gonna miss this party. You're gonna miss hanging out with us. How come you're so tired on Sunday when you get back?" It's like, bro, I haven't slept since fucking Thursday.
Yeah.
I was with you guys Thursday, partying, having fun. Obviously, you guys in season weren't doing that, but I was. And then Friday, we'd go to walk. I'd go to my 8 a.m. class on Friday, which was a giant mistake to put in there. And then walk through. And then we were on the plane getting ready to go to New Orleans or Washington or wherever we were going. Game.
Mm-hmm.
And then fly back that night, And then you probably had a walkthrough on Sunday. It's fuck, no time off. You got to really be on top of it.
100%, and it will get down to a point where D2, you'd be surprised. Obviously D2 is just more they'll try to keep it regional, the decrease the hustle and bustle about flying and decrease those expenses. But once or twice a year we'll at least go. We'll go to Maine or New Hampshire, which is 4.5 hours away on a bus, and then we'll go. I don't know why my coach tells you this game every single time, but we'll go to Indiana IUP, which is Indiana University of Pennsylvania. So we'll go down there, and that was an 8-hour bus trip. And then we went to West Liberty, was the worst. It was 10.5 hours. There and back, literally. We broke it up. So we left. The game was Saturday, so we left Friday. We stayed at our sister school, and then we took a break, and then we woke up, went to the game that Saturday, and then drove straight back.
Wow. No, I remember that in high school, when I played high school football, there was this team called the Jacksonville Bulls in Florida, and we're in Miami. Oh, man, that was almost it's that 7.
It's a 6-hour drive, yeah.
No, it was a little more. It was a 7 hour and 30-minute drive, but we used to be every year we're okay, are we away or home this year? Because, oh, man. You know, because, dude, it's same night back. And
bro, but
everything.
those bus trips in high school,
they're
though,
fun.
were
They're
the tits. Because then you could go to McDonald's after and you could smash, like, a 40-piece McNugget with your boys. Like, nothing was better than that. You know?
We were fat boys. I was weighing 225 playing football.
Yeah, 5'10", 225.
Hey, listen, I was there before I had my health kick and realized like the implications of eating. But you know, when I was looking back, I mean, it's funny because people still to this day like, "Hey, Rome, remember that? Remember we used to go on track meets and you used to order 8 McDoubles?"
Yeah. It was always trying to eat an amount of food that would make all of your friends want to throw up.
Yes.
You know, it was always the
point. Like
everyone would just wanted to like see whose dick was bigger when it came to eating gross food. Like, all right, you know, could you eat 12 McNugget meals with the fries and the drinks? Like, I think I could try. Like, okay, try.
So Josh, who do you think won most of the times?
I mean, not me, because we had some big
motherfuckers.
You? It'd be over. Garbage, bro. Like the dinosaur that you see in the Flintstone movies, the fucking dispose. That's this dude. I've never seen someone eat more in my life. You could turn the lights off in here, and he'd still be eating. Like,
no, man. I'll remember.
It's like someone's trying to fucking take it from him.
No, it was bad. It was bad. My dad used to get so pissed. He'd be like, "Can you stop eating with your eyes, please? Like, please, can you stop eating with your eyes?" He's like, "It's not normal." You know, but it was just like, I would come after football practice.
No,
he'd
it's
pick
sickening.
me up.
It's literally
and he'd be like,
sickening.
"All right, let's go to BK," and I'll get like 2 original chicken sandwiches with cheese, with king-size fries, king-size drink, order the 12-piece chicken tender fries, and then order 2 Hershey pies, and I would eat the whole thing by myself. No joke.
Bro, I'm telling you, he is a savage. A savage. And I eat like a bird now. You know, like I'll eat like a half of a salad and be like, I'll eat the rest later. And he'll be like, "Oh, well, we're not done yet. Like, we have probably like another hour to eat here."
Like, yeah. What was it? We came in today, and I was like, "Bro, I'm hungry." You're like, "Do you want my croissant sandwich?"
Yeah, I was like, "I have an extra ham and cheese sandwich if you want it." And you're like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Bro, you probably need it more than I do." We spend too much time together, man. We spend too much time together. This is what happens when you keep us locked up in this studio.
Right?
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
So what's your playing weight at usually? And how do you maintain that sort of weight throughout the season? Because it's a lot of energy expenditure.
Yeah, a lot of energy expended, and I would say the biggest thing is, backtrack. My current weight is 248. I like to play around 248 to 253. I'm a little bit leaner now because the ACL injury. I've been leaner ever since that happened, so I can put less wear and tear on the knee when I did a rehab. The heaviest I've ever been was 265. Tennessee was more run blocking, power. You know, Derrick Henry.
Right.
So I was there right when Derrick was not a freshman, but he was a rookie in his first year. So
Malarkey was a coach there.
Yeah, Malarkey was the coach. My first 2 years.
Tannehill wasn't there yet, right?
No, Tannehill wasn't there yet.
It was Jake Locker, right? Jake Locker was your quarterback?
What?
No, it was Marcus.
Marcus
Mariota.
I always forget that he was at the British quarterback there.
Mm-hmm.
He's with the Raiders now, right?
Oh, yeah. He balled out that game that he played. But, so, the biggest thing is just adapting with a team because, you know, I can sit there and easily, like, I know I can run routes. I know I'll be a great asset if I was able to run routes, but just knowing your role on the team, and I know too many guys are like, well, I'm the receiving tight end. Bro, you're coming in, Delaney Walker's on the team. Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care what you did in college. Like, you're not going to play over him. Like, he's the GOAT. Like, that's what I'm just trying to say is just rationalizing, like, all right, well, my time will come, you know? So it's just following suit. And that was the biggest thing with me is just, I think that's what helped me to, you know, survive those years because I'm looking back at it. There was a lot of guys that came in and like, I'm going to be 230, and they ran routes really well. But when it came down to the trenches, that's where they struggle, which is the most important. They're going to, if you're not the starting tight end, just off rip, the second, third, fourth, if they carry 5 tight ends, all of them are going to be playing special teams and, you know, have a role because they can only dress, 53 is on the roster and they only dress 48. Mm-hmm. This year was 55. They opened up 2 more spots, but yeah, it's just, another thing that's been beneficial for me has been, the Apple Watch and all the metrics and, helping me to know, like, because I know how much my BMR is, my basal metabolic rate is, and I learned that from working at that gym, and I found out, like, hey, listen, like, I used to sit there and, like, why am I 248 one day, 246, 252? There's a lot of factors into that, but I wanted to be consistent. I know I don't have any backed up gut or anything like that, so I just know it's just because some days I'm building muscle, some days I'm burning it. So, like, the biggest thing was me, once I found out my basal metabolic rate, then it was like, oh shoot, yeah, I know I should be eating 4,000 calories, or 3,000 plus calories, but how many? Like, not 3,000. It's, you need to be eating 3,550. Exact science. So I just feel like the wearables. I have a Whoop.
Okay, I was just gonna ask you if you had a Whoop, and I have an Aura Ring, so I was wondering if you had either of those already, because you mentioned
I just
the
got
Apple Watch
mine
as well.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Whoop is so beneficial to me, and it's been a game changer, especially like because my Apple Watch, I would just sometimes I'll like, if it's 31 days in a month, I'll wear my Apple Watch probably like 13, 12 of those days, because the majority of the time it's not because I don't want to wear it, it's because I try to pick it up and it's dead.
I know what
all
you
the
mean.
other apps, like I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, it's time to work out, and I'm sitting on the rower, and it's like, I'm like, why is this thing not up dead again? So, like, that was the biggest thing with me, is just find a wearable that doesn't have the apps, like this, like touchable.
Yeah.
I still have an Apple Watch. I have both, but now this is just exclusively what I use for calories.
Can we find a wearable that can keep your little ones out from locking you every time? Because that's why I don't even wear my Apple Watch. And I literally have not even tried to like reset it and reprogram it into my iPhone, because my little one will see my watch and she boop, 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 like literally on my wrist while I'm holding her, not even notice. I'm like, ah, shit.
That's bullshit. He locked himself out. He fucking locked himself out.
This guy over here.
That's some bullshit, bro.
But it was so bad.
You locked yourself out.
It went from like 15, 20, 30. I remember one day it was just like, said an hour, and then I remember she got it somewhere, and I saw her with it. I'm like, oh, Stella. And she found it, locked it out to the point where it's like, it got disabled completely. And I was just like, this happened like 4 times already, and I was just like, okay.
Yeah,
I'm done. I'm not gonna connect this back to my phone.
Yeah, I've only been there when my screen is cracking. I'm only pressing 0, 0, 0, 0, and it's like invalid password. Time to get a new phone.
So you're currently getting your strength and conditioning cert right now, right? You're going through the course. After your playing career is done with, right? Hopefully, you're able to get signed by a team pretty soon. How's the ACL doing, by the way? Fully recovered? You're kind of back to normal, or?
Yes, I'm back to normal, back to flying.
It's ready to get on a team.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, let's get you fucking
Miami.
signed.
That's it. Hey, it's crazy. That's where I tore my ACL, but I love Miami,
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to hate it down here, man. Just got to make sure you keep that social circle small. Yes. You were saying
here in Miami,
2, 3. If it's 5 in Tennessee, it's 2 people here. All right.
Yeah. you gotta cut it by half.
Money manager and the agent. That's it. No one else. Everyone else is just an acquaintance.
Oh man.
But so you're getting yourself set up. What exactly is your future plan in fitness? What ideally, if you were to say, 15, 20 years from now, what are you doing in fitness? What does Jerome have in store for the fitness industry?
I have in store for the fitness industry a whole bunch of knowledge and expertise, and I just feel like you can test this, but I just feel like, especially in the strength and conditioning world, you gotta play both ends of the spectrum, and I just feel like, and when I say that, it's like just experiencing, different philosophies and, different training philosophies and different backgrounds. I just feel confident that I'll be able to help kids, especially, and then youth and college athletes, whether it be going to the CFL or going to the XFL or anywhere pro. I feel like, basketball players, I can help them because I played basketball growing up. I just think it's just that innate ability that I had over the years. And I just feel like, I'm just trying to change the motto from bow nose to Rome nose.
Hey,
Rome knows best. That's obviously I won't be Chris and Bo Jackson, but like you said, I just feel like with the expertise that I had in the background of, in that professional setting, not knowing that much, getting that information, and then now learning the same information that they learned or comparable, I just feel like it's going to be beneficial because I have that novice in that professional aspect of it and, viewpoint. So I just feel like I want to bring a professional training facility in Connecticut, and hopefully I'm able to do that soon. That will be able to address all the needs of all athletes and be able to help them build careers and help them to instill the framework, because it's not about I don't want everyone to oh, I didn't make it to the NFL, or I didn't make it to this certain period in life, and I want to make sure this is instilled in them that, hey, listen, like, this doesn't just translate to sports, this translates to life, and that's the most important thing. And the more and more we can correlate training into life, I feel like it just gives us better balance. And I feel more at peace and more at balance when I'm, doing stuff for a specific reason, whether it be, oh, I'm training to do a dumbbell curl right now to get my bicep better, but then I'm thinking about, oh, how can I make a client better? Or how can I, teach this or to a youth athlete who has no idea what the bicep curl is and is hiking at the hip, and I just love for those moments. So I just want to be helpful to the community, and I just feel like there's not enough facilities in Connecticut that address all the needs of the athletes. And I feel like I can fill that gap.
That's great, man. And if there's anything that we can ever do, I mean, obviously 100%. I have a pretty extensive background in strength and conditioning. If there's anything that we can ever do to help you throughout this process and throughout this journey, so that you can open up your own spot and you can be successful, don't hesitate to reach out. We're here for you for sure.
100%. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Before we wrap things up, I know Anthony's going to have some rapid fire questions for you, but I want to first say thank you, for coming on, man. Super great being able to hear a little bit about your story and get to know you. How is the best way for people to reach out to you and get to know you or get to contact you in any way?
I also feel like the best place is, everyone has this the gram mentality right now. So I just feel like if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram and Facebook or Twitter or anything like that. I have all those social media outlets, and I'll try my best to answer your question. And if I don't know the answer, then I'll either do the research or refer you to someone that knows.
I love that answer.
What's the handles for those?
J_Cunningham84 for my Instagram account, J_Cunningham86 for my Twitter account, and my Facebook is I do not know.
We'll tag it. We'll
got
find
you.
Yeah, we'll tag it.
We'll figure it out. But if you just put in Jerome Cunningham, it will come up.
Awesome.
Yo, gotta say again, thank you, my brother. Really appreciate it. You making your time to come on here. And I know we kept talking about this, and we finally made it happen. And I'm so grateful to be able to speak with you, Josh's too, and just be able to share what you're doing, your experiences, your stories, and the impact that you're trying to drive forward, especially in the youth. I want to do something more for the youth as well, and that's something I want to develop as well. So for me, that's important. I think more than ever now, with all the stuff that we got going on, I think the youth is a great place to be able to influence people starting there. So before we wrap it up, finally, we got some questions.
Okay. And I got answers.
Question number 1. What is the one exercise that if you can only pick one to keep, you would keep, and you can't do anything else?
One exercise, I would say it would have to be so many exercises. I'm sorry. Definitely. I mean, status quo. My head, like my bro mentality, is bench press. Like, when it comes down to like functional and functional strength, like I just feel like deadlifting or squatting is the key.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
I like that answer though. I like that answer.
Yeah.
I like both. I like the fact that you were like, okay, if I was just gonna be bro out with you guys, I'm definitely picking the bench press, and I think you would smoke. But I don't think I've touched a barbell bench press.
Well, you're saying you were hitting 32 reps. Come on, bro.
I know.
No wonder. Question number 2. What's the biggest play you had in your career in the NFL?
I would say the biggest play in my career would definitely, one of them was the scoring a touchdown. Both of them were passes from Ryan Nassib.
Hey, we got these Syracuse helmets representing. You know, we're here.
Orange man, let's go. But yeah, it was. I would just say there was so many moments. I mean, you know, embracing the moment first by when the Giants first called me. When the Giants first called me, like there's multiple moments. So I'm just gonna explain it. I was just not multiple. It's just two. So the first moment was when the Giants called me, and I was at Southern Connecticut State, and you know, me and my girlfriend just sitting there in her apartment, and she's like, "So what are you gonna do?" And I'm like, "I just got my car towed recently, so you know, I'm on my limited funds. So I'm like, I just got it out because I parked wrong in college. So I had to pay $100 to get it out. So she's like, "What are you gonna do?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And I was bouncing at the time at a club, so that was that, and setting up tables and chairs and tents for party rentals. So this story is crazy now. Watch this. So went to work that morning, and I go to Branford, Connecticut, where I was working at Taylor Rental. So I go there, clock in, and then we're on a job. So we had it's the summer. So, you know, everyone, like, we're on the water of, you know, connected to the Long Island side. So everyone's having parties on the water in their beautiful multi-million-dollar mansions in Connecticut. So we're delivering stuff. We had a full course load. So it's about like 4:00. And we have been grinding for, you know, 9 hours straight, no lunch, nothing, because we was just like, well, we're trying to finish, and we didn't have time to. It took a more time at a house because of the situation that they had. They had too many chairs there, so we couldn't fit them in our truck. So we figured that situation out. So we started heading back to the shop, and we had one more job to do it. And the guy's like, "So are we gonna finish this today, or we're gonna do this tomorrow?" I was like, "Well, we're gonna finish this today, but like, I don't want to work through work, so I need a break." And we stopped at McDonald's. So I'm like, something real quick. I'm like, no, like, not for nothing. Like, they've been working us like dogs. And we pulled in like 130 hours. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the owners there. They're great, you know, but they were working it. So we had 130 hours, I think, or close to it in 1 week, the week before that. So we were on to the second week. So we're like burnt out. So I'm like, let's go get some food. 30 minutes is not going to kill us. We're still going to be overtime. So I go into McDonald's, and then we're eating, and me and the two other guys are just sitting there like, "Oh, well, like, it'd be dope for you to play in the NFL." I was like, "I don't know, maybe one day." And then all of a sudden I get a call from my agent. He's just like, "Yo, what are you doing right now?" I'm like, "I'm at work." He's like, "No, you're not." He's like, "The Giants want to work you out tomorrow. So whatever you're doing right now, you need to clock out and head to New Jersey right now." So I'm like, "Oh, shoot." So I'm like, luckily we stopped at the McDonald's that was only like 5 minutes from the shop. So finished my sandwich, proceed to bring the box truck to the Taylor Rental. And then I'm sitting there, and then all my coworkers are just sitting there. They were like, "Bro, like," I'm like so happy. I didn't want to leave. And they're like, "Bro, go." Because I'm like, I not really felt bad, but I was like, all right, well, I want to still help you guys. And they're like, "No, no helping now. Go chase your dream." So after that, I drove my 2012 or 2010 Dakota with 180,000 miles for that Jersey.
Yo, I had a Dodge Dakota too, man. Shout out to, I had a Rust Bucket Dodge 98 Dodge Dakota.
Yep, the V8 Magnum.
Yeah, yes, yeah, you know it's good.
Yep. So I drove that down to Jersey, and then that's how my NFL career started.
It's amazing.
So, you know, and it's just a blessing that, you know, it happened on the job, and it was around with those guys, and it's just a story that we always have.
That's incredible.
Share and connect with.
Love that, brother.
The other one is Ryan Nassib. I'll do a little real quick. Ryan Nassib throwing me a dime on the sideline. Lost the DB on the sideline, and Eli, I still have the picture, and Eli just sitting there like, it was in preseason. You know? and it's like deer in headlights, like, I can't wait to throw it to this guy. So
that's great.
You know, it's been a great, enjoyable experience, and you know, I just love those two. Like, I love to share those two stories because it's just been a great, journey. And I love the Giants because, once a Giant, always a Giant. So always keep
There
that.
you go.
Well, I always keep that.
I love hearing that, man. I spent so much time with Ryan over, the course of 3.5 years. It's so cool to hear that, he was able to be a part of that great story for you as well.
Yeah, it's amazing.
100%.
Truly amazing. Last and final question. What is the biggest piece of advice you can leave off to all our listeners today in just one sentence?
I would just say, the biggest thing is just persistence. The key to life is persistence. Whenever a door closes, try to find a window. Whenever a window closes, try to go through the basement. Basement's closed. All right, go to the next house.
Yay!
All right, just keep it moving. I just say persistence is key, and I've been signed or released 32 times in my NFL career. Being up and down on practice squad, active roster. It's been a journey, and I just feel like the biggest thing is without having that persistence and knowing hey, listen, when I got released, it wasn't oh, I'm just gonna sulk. No, hell no. I'm back home. Now it's time to grind again. So I just feel like persistence is key, and the more and more we have that hard work mentality, more and more we keep pushing at it. Whether you have goals and aspirations to be the best stock trader in the world, you know what I'm saying? And they didn't learn all the hedge fund managers didn't learn that all in one night. Majority of them are in their, some of them are young, but majority of them are in their 40s, 50s, so it's just a grind. And I just feel like we always quit before we actually realize our full potential. Everyone is different. And it might take you one time to look over material and you get it. Josh, it might take you 2-3 times. It might take me 8, but I give up every time at 5. So that's the biggest thing with me is I know I don't grasp information, well the first time, but I know I'm not gonna give up until I learn it. Yep. So that's the biggest thing with me is persistence.
Love that, man. Persistence is key. Persistence is key. Now, just because I have to ask, because it is Super Bowl weekend, who you got?
Oh, being in New England, boy, you already know. Tommy B, baby.
Yeah, what's up?
The GOAT. Watch out. Watch out.
All I'm gonna say is I wish I was able to go to the Super Bowl. Because this is gonna be crazy. This is the best Super Bowl.
Dude, come.
Yeah,
we'll meet you up there.
Yeah,
we're only 4-hour drive.
Yeah, we're not too far from Tampa.
What you call it? Bro, it's funny because I'm sitting there I should have went to the one in 2019, but now just thinking about it, next year, 2022, I'm definitely 100% going.
Let's go, man. Let's go. Well, 100%. Brian Flores, if you're fucking listening, sign our fucking boy.
Let's go. Bring
sign
him to
our
Miami.
Boy. We need him in the 305. Jesus, 315 Syracuse.
I would not mind playing for Brian Flores. He's a great, mastermind defensive coach and head coach, and he learned from the best. And I experienced that Patriot way with
Vrabel,
Matt Patricia, and Vrabel. More with Matt Patricia because it was only brief.
Oh, you were with the Lions, right?
Vrabel. But with the Lions and that Patriot way is just key. So I just know that everyone in Miami is following suit, and I know they're getting better each and every day, and that's what I'm about. So
love it, man. Love it. Well, we're gonna definitely be keeping a keen eye on everything that goes on this free agency
I'm gonna start poking at some of my Dolphin friends.
Yeah, you're the Dolphin influencer,
yeah,
bro.
I do some influential work for the Dolphins, so I'm gonna start
come on, man.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate it.
Gotta tell them if you want Mendez Fitness in the building, you better sign our boy.
Let's go.
All right, Jerome, we appreciate it. We're not trying to take up too much of your time. Thank you again for coming on. Everyone who's listening, make sure you guys follow Jerome. Stay tuned to all of his great NFL career that's already happened, that's going to be happening. We're super excited for you, man. And again, anything that we can help you when it comes to your fitness career, you let us know. We're here for you,
and
brother.
your facility. We got you.
Yeah. Thank you for, having me on. The Sweat It Out podcast, no better person to have me on than someone who sweats it out each and every day.
Love that, man. Love that. That's what we're trying to get.
Josh, thank you for having me, and it's been a great conversation, and I love this moment because we need more positive things coming out of the world at this moment.
Appreciate
absolutely. It's a great way to wrap it up. Until next time, everybody.
Oof.